I'm just going to start by being as transparent as possible because I think that's the only way that these interviews go well and are worthwhile and valuable. I think for those abreast of a very recent and what I would assume a pretty painful discovery, that I'm like more eager and uh, I don't know, just really aware of stressing the importance of your performance and your work. And I'm so happy that I'm sort of here for you today to, I don't know, like direct energy and focus towards that because it really matters. And the film like sort of quietly faces a lot of the sort of it kind of screams in the face of adjacent challenges that feel similar but not the same. And having said that, I would love to just like ask you about how you came to the movie because I know you've kind of shepherded this thing from jump and I want to know what made you want to look more closely at this person because I know that this was kind of a self-made endeavor, and that's really cool. So I want
Yeah.
to know, how'd you get into it? What made you look closely at her?
Um, Thank you for saying that. And it's true, there's something adjacent. And so, which brings me to why I wanted to do this movie. There's actually a connection in all of this, like so often in life. So like you, I'm an actress, and at 15, I read the biography of Sisi, this empress that was known to be this beautiful Disney white dress princess. You know, before our time, she was already a celebrity. And at 15, I read her biography, and I suddenly discovered, to what I felt at 15, like a darkness or a sadness, or because I didn't. I read what I was reading, but I kept thinking, why was she doing this? You know, why was she doing all this sport? What's the pain? And although I was, I think, too young to really understand, because I was myself not yet a woman, I could feel something about women there because I was brought up very freely by my mother, telling me, you are free to go, climb on the tree if you want, you know, run around naked if you like. You know, as a child, I was very free. And then going to school, of course, I had to face the truth that society is going to want to capture you and trap you, as a woman, especially. And as a girl, you have to please in order to be loved, and you have to be this girl or that girl, and then this woman. So I think at 15, this is something I felt reading it, not consciously knowing. And then many years later, suddenly I was an actress. And
Mhm.
as an actress, we face the same thing, you know, that they always interpret something into you. They project so much onto an actress. And when I came back from doing Phantom Thread, which is a movie that I also came out in the US, and I found that pretty painful, this experience of suddenly being seen, and suddenly people look at me, and suddenly they have an interest in talking about how I look or what I wear or who I am. And this made me really want to do that movie, because to me, she was the first, victim of that, the first person trapped inside her own image, but made by the people who look at her.
Mhm. And so why Marie?
So I was working with Marie on a movie that's called We Used to Be Cool in Austria.
Mhm.
And we really liked working together because
Nice.
she is, I love working with women because it's not so much this linear thinking of how do we build something or how do we get somewhere, but it's more accepting the chaos, accepting the vulnerability, accepting that we don't know what movie we're making. We didn't know what movie we were making, but we knew what our heart wanted. And just to follow that, and not always explain what you're doing is something
Mm.
I really enjoy working with women, and I have it a lot with Marie. So that's why I wanted to work with her.
Mm. You can tell that this is built systematically. You can tell because I mean, it has your guys's flow and connection is so present because I do think the movie has like, kind of a number of perspectives. I think it has a really light and like deft touch when it falls into your body. All of a
Yeah,
sudden, all of a sudden, like this inner eye, like you're sort of inner temperature, heartbeat sort of
Yeah.
permeates. Suddenly we're in a different lyrical place before we like slam back. And it's a kind of, it's got like a feminine touch. And I wish we had a different word for that, because that's not
Yeah.
what is, does that mean lighter, or does it mean softer? Or does it just mean like less leading and less sort of cocksure? Because it
Yeah.
does, I love that all of a sudden I was like, I felt like I was completely like you were cut open and I was allowed to sort of like go in there and see through your eyes, and it never felt like overt, and that must have been something that you guys found together, you know, obviously planned for, but must have found together on the day, because you couldn't possibly know how you're going to feel like when you're actually
No,
there.
I think we didn't know anything when we were doing. We just knew we want to follow the this what we found, you know, follow the little thread that we found to this woman that spoke to us so strongly about being a woman and having people expect you to be a mother or the lover or the whore or the empress or the princess or the, you know, when really we are everything at the same time and nothing at the same time. And we don't know who we are. And women are such complex beings that you cannot put into the framework of like a sexy woman or a beautiful princess or a saint. So I
Mm.
think both of us, we just tapped into this almost like telepathy, because we are both women who understood at one point, okay, we are vulnerable, but that doesn't mean that we're going to run away. We're going to sit
Mm.
inside our vulnerability and be like, yeah, so then destroy me. Here I am. And I'm just a person and I'm a human. And her making her become human, you know, like you say, there's two things at the same time. There's the inner, deep, dark side of her, and the outside is almost, you know, flirren, we say in German. It's sentier, uh, sparkling almost, you know, with some sort of light around her, but at the same time, and she's everything at the same time. And we just wanted to show a real woman, you know, who can be everything.
Yeah, and how like watching the type of men that surround this woman, it's actually quite funny to me. It seems like if they had hair, it would be blowing back. Like it's so scary for them to, yeah,
That's so funny.
not be able to not only like find precise words for what this woman is, because she is ephemeral, and that's like this sort of apparently I'm not a guy, but like an unrelatable thing, but also not be able to choose those words for her, and to be like, wait, I'm so used to that. It's like the frustration is so, I love how you deal with sort of antagonism in the movie, because it
Yeah.
is so like, it's very
Yeah.
toothy, but it just, it like, it has a relaxed jaw. It's not like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's just something that is,
Well,
uh,
that's what I think is interesting in our time for women, because we don't have to clench the jaw and be like, "Ugh, I can be as strong as you. Look at me." But
yeah.
yeah, but we are allowed to be a woman and be soft and be vulnerable, but maybe fucking intelligent or not, or just very observant. So I think when I was
Bengal
being
tiger,
her,
the Bengal tiger, like it's that.
yeah,
Oh, God.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's so soft. And I never felt strong playing it. You know, you say it's like the men, the hair would blow back. I literally felt weaker than the men around me. And I did feel crushed by them, even as an actress, because I was in the fucking corset. I couldn't move. They were moving naturally. I couldn't eat really. I was always weak and cold and in pain. So I didn't feel strong at all, but I just tried to be myself and
Yeah.
just be myself, you know?
Yeah, it looked like it hurt. It definitely looked like, even though I'm sure that you had a good time making it, but I felt all of those things.
No,
it
yeah.
was like, it really did feel like a kind of whatever, like a living autopsy. Because I felt like, there's something about playing historical figures where you do feel the loss of them throughout, even when they're most alive. And so it was like I was trying to figure out what killed her the whole time. And so you're showing
Yeah.
us that. It's, yeah, it was really cool. And so be playing this woman who really could be all of us and is everything at once. In addition to being this empress that's like, you know, everyone thinks they know stuff about her. it's relatable because we are all as females subject to uh like a life designed by the minds and bodies of men,
Hmm.
and really just like just patriarchy as a whole, and this seems to be the most like vital stories of late, and I'm just wondering if you feel like, I wonder where this is going, because right now that's what we're quite fixated on. Do you know what I mean? As it's like I
Yeah.
mean, not generalized, but it does feel like these are the ones that really puncture. These are the ones that feel the most vital. I feel a huge responsibility as like somebody trying to put movies together, trying to figure out which stories to tell, to sort of like make it so we don't have to tell them anymore.
Yeah.
So focus on something else. I
Yeah.
just wonder, like, did it, because this hurt you? Were there moments of elation, of accomplishment, where you felt like, oh man, I feel like maybe tethers are being sliced into, and therefore maybe we get to like look forward instead of back? And that's how I felt recently. I don't
As a
know.
woman, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, making art. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, even though making the movie was painful and even getting it financed was fucking painful, and because they kept saying, we don't want to see difficult women, this is not a female, people won't like her. But that was the biggest problem everyone had, no one would like this woman. And so it was very painful to get it done, to make it, to shoot it, for me to be in this fucking corset. I hated it. Sometimes I just hated going to work so much, and then being surrounded by men who they could just make all their jokes. And you know how actors are, and it was just always loud and another joke and another, and I was just trying to survive. So that was painful. But also sometimes I remember just quietly smiling at myself and thinking, but I do exist, and that I exist is the proof that there is a future, because I am a new kind of woman, and I'm not saying that because I'm in any way special. I'm just saying that I got lucky
Yeah.
to get a different entrance into this, because I don't care if they like me. I don't care if I don't feel like I need to please to a man. I really don't care if they think I'm beautiful, I'm good, which led
Mhm.
me to be so free that I could portray this woman wrong, because I'm showing my finger, I'm pulling my tongue. That's not how you're supposed to act as an actress when you're doing a historical part.
Yeah.
It's all about how well did you do your homework. Oh, look
Uh,
at how much I look like someone from 1860. Do you see it?
yeah.
Do you see it? I really move like someone, you know
Yeah. Yeah.
and then it becomes only about the homework. And I think especially women have been trapped in this fear of not being believable, or not being accepted, or being
Yeah.
turned down, or of someone saying, who are you, you don't look sexy. And I
Yeah.
do think that this is the new version of a woman, and that they let me exist, they let me sit here and talk about my movie, they let me be an actress in my own way, where I don't try to please, is the proof that we as women are moving to a different future. I do
Mhm.
think so.
That's such a cool, like, sort of conflation of points to make a larger one about, like, because I really made a point to myself, like, don't ask her about her research. Like, I definitely wanted to know why I like this person, but I'm like, I don't need, you don't need to justify or show your work. You know what I mean? This isn't like algebra 2. We're not in middle school. Like, it's like um,
Yeah,
such a thing. And
exactly.
yeah, it really does happen to girls mostly, especially the historical figure thing. And we already covet, this woman that you played is a coveted figure. So therefore, like, you're the one who has to hold up that idea. And you're like, no, 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 I'm saying the opposite of what everyone wants me to say, actually. And to watch people sit with
Yeah.
that with a new idea is fun and scary and treacherous for sure. But like, yeah, like that's such an annoying thing. Like it's so clear that the movie is not being made in order to like re-educate or reiterate facts
Yeah.
that we know this person. Yeah,
And
it's
it
like
really happened as we were going along. It was not also all these anachronisms. It was not as if me and Marie met and we're like, oh, we're going to make this very cool movie that's going to be different, and we will have all these anachronisms. It just really naturally happened as we were working around this woman and realizing that, okay, she's actually bigger than this. And I
yeah,
realized I cannot trap her inside a perfect actress,
right.
trying to behave. This is just then I'm missing the point. And as we
Yeah.
went along, I found more and more of these rebellious moments of just being me. I was just really misbehaving all the time, I think. And Marie, as we went along, found more and more fun playing with, oh, let's use this furniture. It looks better. I'm not allowed because it's not from 1860, but it looks better. And I want to make a movie that looks good and I want to
Yeah.
reach people. I think making movies is all about the dialogue. It's building bridges. If I make a movie, I think I'm building a bridge to the audience and I invite them to talk about something. And here we want to talk about women and feminism
Mm.
and how women were so trapped and how can we get out of this. And also the treacherous, rabbit hole that leads down when you go into Instagram and social media, because she was the first celebrity victim, really. She at 15, they were saying that she was the most beautiful woman of Europe, and
Mm.
it completely fucked her up. I mean, she got kind of crazy out of this. And I
Mm.
think as a society, we are facing the same thing, that now that we all know how we look and we know if someone likes the way we look or doesn't like, we are turning into this weird, lost creatures with all these mirrors around, and we don't know who we are anymore, really. That's another reason I wanted to make the movie, because I think we have to talk about this a lot nowadays, that what will happen to us as a society now that we suddenly all know how we look, because of the media.
Yeah, it's the sort of obsessive image creating is a lot more serious and a lot less sort of frivolous and fickle than it feels to create in the moment, because they are long lasting and they fucking are so assaulting. And then they
Yeah,
also kind of can build people up in a false way. There's like such a sort of false idol thing going on, and like,
yeah,
yeah, I agree. It's like we're given these toys to play with that are incredibly dangerous, and we don't really realize as little
yeah,
kids what they're gonna do, and we're gonna grow up and we're gonna look and we're gonna go, God, we were playing with the atom bomb, and oh boy,
no, really.
and good for
No, no,
us.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. And how everyone has become so different, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but if you look at one day, I had fun playing around and looking interviews of like I don't know, Janis Joplin or the Rolling Stones or whatever. And even if you can tell that they know they're on TV now and they're wearing their best leather jeans jacket or whatever, they thought about it. But as they speak, you really should look at it. They speak like children. They don't know how they look speaking. They don't
Right,
know what they look like in
right,
the moment.
right.
And it's a complete different energy on the face, on the body, than nowadays, where everyone can tell when they speak, they have this third eye and they know I'm being watched, and they behave towards this.
Yeah. And it really depends. Like, people react to that third eye so differently. Some people shy away from it and cringe, and some people really
Yeah.
know how to do it. And like, yeah, I do find people that know how to lean into it are on the whole like really psychotic. And then they're the ones that appear to be together and sort of self-possessed in a way that comes across, but I don't think it's true. I think, like, I mean, it's just so easy to lie, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's so easy
Yes.
to misinterpret, because we are all sort of twisting ourselves into pretzels because we are overthinking what we seem like.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so,
And we are,
yeah.
yeah. And the twisting is a good word, because I think in the movie, the Empress, she's being twisted. So she becomes twisted because parts of her personality, really, that's why they had a big problem financing it, is wrong or weird or difficult or not to be liked. That's why they were afraid people won't like the movie, because they don't like the person. And this is
Who's
because her twisted, huh?
Just think about the people who were saying that, though. You know what I mean? It's because the people in charge, we know who they are. And I don't want to be alienating and sound like an angry
Yeah,
feminist lady, but the people that generally are the ones saying that are people that hold the power and the money and the control, and we know who those people are. And so
yeah,
of course they are like, oh, we don't think we're going to like this person. But I think the world, like, general, I think, like, it's, I'm so hungry for it. I watched this movie. I felt like I laughed a lot. And I know that it's really
yeah,
sad. It made me giddy because I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, it feels very vicarious. Like I just felt a nervous, kind of happy, sad. Obviously, I have a lot of empathy for this person, but like it
Yes.
was fun to watch because I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I get it." I mean, that's gonna this
Yeah.
movie's a lot of people really happy and like,
Yes.
yeah,
And that's really how it felt making it. It felt like we are two girls, me and Marie, and doing this child
kind of going,
prank. Yes. And
yeah,
like, oh, what if we do this? And now, and there's things that are not in the movie, where I get up from the table and I just do like a headstand, or, oh, the mustache in the end, the mustache.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was not planned. And I secretly went to my makeup artist, Heike, and I said, Heike, do you have a mustache? And then I hid it here. And that was me playing a prank on Marie and saying like, ha, you see, you didn't see it come. But always following, the thread of our story, really, or what we had to say, but
Mhm,
always playing with it. And I think that's why the movie is even interesting to people nowadays, is because two women decided to do it their own way.
mhm,
Because the generation of my mother or so, or like first directors, they had so much pressure that they thought they have to prove being a director. They had to prove, yes, I am look at my intellect, look at my,
look at
I yes, look at my homework. And actresses too, either they were trying to look very serious so everyone believes them to be a serious actor, or they were just trying to look good. Or but there was so much, they were never just playing. For women, it was not really allowed to just have
mhm,
fun and play.
mhm.
And I think we had a lot of fun and played
Yeah.
in the pain. Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I mean, honestly, you're over sort of grown body in this room where you're just hitting the ceiling. And when suddenly you're with your cousin and you're in the water and your arms are like this. And then with the kid and she comes in and the way that you hold the dogs and then her and then look it up at her like serious face and just everything falls out of you in a moment because you realize you've lost
Yeah.
her. Still a baby.
Yes.
She's a fucking
Yes.
baby. Honestly, everything you're saying like makes so much sense because I just don't think any of this could have been formulaically planned. It felt so I mean, I love
Yeah.
all of the plans, but I love how free you feel within these
Yes.
parameters. Feels like at any moment you could do like anything. And I was like watching the whole time going like, what's next?
Yeah. And that's how I felt. And I think that's really what acting is. It's
Mm.
play. It's about me inviting you to play. Otherwise, I invite you to the homework, and then this you can do at home by yourself. But if I make you, especially nowadays, if I make you come out of your house, go to the cinema,
Yeah.
sit down, buy a ticket for, like, it's so expensive now, then I invite you to play, even if it's in pain, but ultimately it's a play. It's, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, gosh, what else do I want to like nudge you about? What about I have a kind of dorky question. How did you guys shoot it? How close is like what were you guys using? And this is kind of just between you and me. Like what is it? What did you guys shoot on?
On film. So it was a 35
Yeah,
millimeter film.
you couldn't you couldn't fucking avoid it. It looks so stunning. It's
Yes.
so instinctive and it's so lush. And the fact that it's able to jump out of a really objective, sort of painful, the way that it uses the way that the angles sort of like crush you into places and then kind of stretch out other areas so you feel like there's this like gaping space that you're not allowed to sort of penetrate and then like just the whole thing I like she's brilliant. I mean it really is
Yes.
just
So Judith Kaufmann is one of our best camera women, and she's been there for a long time doing her thing and believing in her own art. She's one of the best as a woman, really doing a thing and openly dating women as well. I mean, in Berlin, everything was more open since a long time ago, but still in movie business, for some reason, it took a long time for it to be normal, to
mm,
have a gay couple, anything personal about a person. And she
right.
was the first woman I met who was so open about everything, and as a woman still so strong and so intuitive, and she combines both her intuition and the way she follows me. That's
Mm,
also something. I swear I could not have done this without her,
mm.
because for one to go wild, you have the other one to catch,
Absolutely. Dude, I know. So cool.
you know?
Yep.
so she was always catching me, and we did another movie together called Two Lives, and I had to run up the hill, and I'm always very physical as a, you know, I like to run, I like to just, I don't know. And they told me that I have to run because they're coming for me to kill me. So of course I was like, okay, I'm running for my life, so I'm gonna run up that hill. And I was so fast that no one could follow, the whole team, no one was able to follow but her with the camera. And she's so cool. She's just, she's in it with you, you know. She will go,
Yeah.
and she's brilliant. She's really, really good. But I mean, all these people were good. Yeah, every is teamwork, but this movie is definitely teamwork. I mean, the costumes, the lights, the all the decoration, because the movie looks like it's made with money, and we didn't have money. That's only because all these people are so good and incredible, and they give everything, they do everything for the idea, because they could tell that Marie really had a vision. And she really had a vision, you know. This whole idea comes from her with the ending, to end it like this. So I said to Marie, I suggested to make a movie about Sissy for the reasons I told you. And then she turned to me and said, that's a really bad idea. She thought it was really stupid. No, she really thought it was silly, because coming from Austria, she grew up with Sissy being the most superficial version of a woman, you know, superficial and just about beauty, and selling mugs and t-shirts in souvenir shops, you know. She didn't get it. And I said, really, because at 15, I had this intuition feeling there's something behind this woman, you know, very dark and sad and broken. And but then we didn't talk for like 2 years, and I went off and I shot Phantom Thread, which made me almost lose myself and then find myself and then come back home to Berlin. And then when I'm in Berlin, I opened the letterbox, and there was a script with a postcard that said, "Dear Vicky, I guess you were right."
Wow.
So, yes. And so what had happened, to talk about teamwork and how brilliant everyone was, what had happened is that she, even though she didn't get it really, you know, why to make a movie about this, but she did go to the archives, and she went into the archives and read everything she could find. And reading, she got interested, and then she started to find these little acts of rebellion, you know, that are known about her, that she would not eat with everyone, she would smoke, which was really almost forbidden for a woman of that time, and all these things. And then she found out that in the time frame that she wanted to talk about in the movie, nothing is written really about her, and especially from the time that she was 38 or something, there's not a painting, there's not a picture, and she was always wearing a veil. So Marie went,
turned 40.
yes, and Marie was like, oh, wait a minute, so no one ever saw her after she was 40. What if it was not her? And then she built this whole idea around it, which is so genius, you know.
That's so cool. Honestly, coming from a complete layman, I could talk to you all day about all those details, because I know nothing at all about her. That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's such a good idea.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't sure when she walks back in from outside and you're shooting up, and then you walk in to help. I thought you were helping yourself. I thought when the veil came off that it was going to be a double image of you.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, she's like helping herself puke. And then it was like, no, it's her. I was like, oh, it
it's
was,
her.
I just, the way it was shot too was so sort of elusive. And like, before you
Yes.
connect, it's shocking. It's really cool. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah.
tight.
Yeah. But that's actually based on true, I mean, not that she had a double, but she would at the end of her life, I mean, basically she tried to escape all her life. That's what I found out in my research, reading her poems, reading what people wrote about her in their diaries, her diary. And she'd only wanted to travel and travel and travel. And they would always complain about it, saying, you have to come back, you have to represent at the court. And if she traveled, she would travel so all dressed in black, like you see in the movie, with her ladies in waiting. And you couldn't tell who was the empress, and even if there was an empress. So she was traveling incognito in order to get away from being the empress, right? And then her being one of the first criticism, she criticized monarchy very early on. So in the movie, what you hear her son say when he says monarchy's dying is out of her diaries. So
Mm.
she said monarchy is dying before everyone knew that monarchy was actually dying. So as one of the first criticizers, she got assassinated by an anarchist. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah. Wow.
Can you imagine? And he killed her with a nail file in her heart. And the night before, or like really close before, I found in her notes, she wrote, I want to escape through a tiny slit, like a cutting, almost like in the canvas. I want, and Schlitz. And that's how she died,
Weird.
almost with the nail file. Crazy, no?
Whoa. Yeah, it sounds made up. It sounds too poetic. It sounds too like that's so crazy.
Totally. Yeah, but Marie didn't want to, and that's also again where Marie is so brilliant. She said, "Oh, let's not murder another woman. You know, we've seen it so many times."
Mm.
she tried to find a different way out, and I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
It's so crazy that she had the patience to write the whole script without telling you. I blow every surprise I've ever.
right.
Yeah, I mean, this woman is she's something else. That's really
That's
something.
badass.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Right.
really badass.
Even not even
Really,
a text, not even like a dude. You don't even know what I'm working on, but I'll wait. You're like just nothing, just to go.
yeah,
Yes, you were right. Is like
you
really
know,
cool. Yeah.
it's so cool. And I remember when I got the script, I thought that's why women are cool, because I swear every man I know they would have told me before, and
Well,
she
because
was
they would
just
have
like,
wanted approval, some praise, and she's like, no, no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
used to. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Oh, she's the best. I really respect her as a director. I think she will. I hope she will do many more great movies.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
do you guys have anything cooking, even if it's like back burner, deep depth, bottom of your guts yet?
Not really. I think she's quite overwhelmed with, the reception, and she's not used to this, and
Mhm.
also standing in the limelight, or like people, talking to her. I think it's really overwhelming. So she's just taking time to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something will come. That's the thing
Yes.
about things that hurt is you take stuff that seems kind of ugly on its face, chisel out something beautiful, put that back
Yes.
out in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope
Cool.
she can stay calm now with that, because it's really a lot when suddenly, I mean, you know about it, but when suddenly people, you're always the same artist, and suddenly people go, oh, no, you're the artist. Like, oh, I thought I was just one of many, and I was so replaceable, but suddenly, no, now you're the Chiquita Banana, and we have to work with you. And you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. No, it's like you're the $100,000 kid all of a sudden. You're like, oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know.
So
I
I
know.
really wish for her to find calm, peaceful moments to really pursue her art, and blend out the noise.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna let you stop doing this now, but I could literally do this.
Okay.
Wait to do it in person and ask you like nitty gritty secret stuff that other people aren't
Yes.
allowed
Yes.
about.
Yes. I
Yeah,
think we have to go for coffee. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
I agree.